So I live in New York, and um, I grew up in Minneapolis, Midwestern city. Uh, I've lived in New York for all of my adult life. I didn't go to art school. I studied philosophy as an undergraduate, and uh, then I just uh, got a job that gave me access to video equipment and just made work at night after work. Uh, my interest in art came through an interest in film and video, and so uh, the my earliest work is uh, mostly video work, short single-channel videos, and then my work became more installation-oriented, and I started working in other mediums as much or more than video. The project uh, came about from a visit I made to Washington D.C. and I went to all of the national museums on the National Mall, and I went to the Holocaust Memorial Museum for the first time, and I was really kind of struck and perplexed by the artworks that were commissioned for the museum when it was built, and that was the starting point for the exhibition. And 3 years later, the form that the project took was that I made four artworks that sort of responded to the four commissioned artworks for the Holocaust Memorial Museum. Basically, artworks by me in the style of these four artists. The four commissioned artworks are a Solowit wall mural, Richard Serra steel wall. There's a Ellsworth Kelly wall sculpture that's in two parts. There are three blank white panels and an enormous white curve shape, which is his signature shape. And then in front of the museum, there's a large Joel Shapiro sculpture of one of his signature figures. So for the show here, I made a wall mural that's was sort of inspired by Solowit's wall murals, but the instructions that I drew up for the mural were just that a wall was to be painted beige using 1-inch brushes, and three students from the art school here interpreted and executed the mural, and I told them that they could just do whatever they wanted within those parameters. And Solowitz wall murals are usually like just very prescribed, and there's no room for interpretation, and they're painted often by painters who have been specially trained to make these murals. So I wanted to make something that where the people that painted the mural had complete freedom to do whatever they wanted. And the work that I made in it's sort of in response to the Ellsworth Kelly pieces. I made a large fiberglass curve shape, like his white curve shape. I changed the design a little bit to make it more sort of dynamic, and but I made my curve pink instead of white, so it's sort of a hybrid of a Ellsworth Kelly curve shape and a pink triangle, which gay people in the Holocaust were made to wear. And for the Richard Serra piece, I chose to not to directly address the piece that he made for the Holocaust Museum. Instead, I made a video which is based on his video from the early 70s, Television Delivers People, but my video is called Art Delivers People, and where his video is a very sort of scathing critique of the television industry. I used a lot of the same language from his video to talk about the art industry, and a lot of it I felt was applicable. The Holocaust Memorial Museum work was all made for this exhibition. In Scotland, another related piece is I made a sculpture of the Arbeit macht free sign from Auschwitz in the form that it was found when it was recovered after its theft last year, and the sign had been cut into three parts and was found in a field in Poland a few days after the theft. So I remade the sign in three parts and arranged them in just sort of a scattered formation. And what I found really compelling about that whole incident is just all of the questions that it raised about what does it mean to deface a symbol of evil, and what does it mean to restore a symbol of evil, and what does it mean to copy a symbol of evil. And when the sign was stolen, it seemed equally likely that it could have been stolen for scrap metal or as a prank, or by neo-Nazis, which turned out to be the case. Despite the title, the show isn't exactly about the Holocaust. It's and there's a lot of other work in the show that about other subjects altogether. But in choosing work, for the most part, I selected work that was was more minimalist, and the focus of the show is more generally the relation between art and socio-political reality, and uh, I, and um, how art can function and how art can be used.